Hello, LarpWright here. My name is Martin, and today I'm going to show you how to make a primitive bevel for a blacksmithing fire. Let's start with the tools and materials. You'll need some wood, big board like that, and smaller boards like this. You'll need leather, lots of thin yet rugged and hopefully airtight leather. And I've got this cheap off eBay. It is a greenish black, so I don't want to make anything else out of it really. But for bevel, I think it's good. Need some nails with heads, wood glue, a bit of copper or steel pipe, at least as thick as this. This should be 60 millimeters. A drill bit that will fit your pipe. Drill. Saw with wooden saw blade. You'll need some wire, or more specific wire rings. I found these in the Gartenabteilung at my local hardware shop when I was looking for wire to make these rings out of. So this was like $2.50 a piece, and I bought 3 of them. One got probably ripped off, and I could have bought a whole spool of wire that is this thick. Well, this is fairly sturdy. That's really nice. And you will need your leather sewing kit and some leather glue. So, let's get started. Okay. Let's start by cutting out the round top and bottom pieces from our pieces of wood. This piece of wood I basically found in the garbage, so it didn't cost me anything, but it's a bit weird shape. That shouldn't be a problem. Okay, my saw. And get over the edge here. And hopefully not cut into my table while doing this. Clean up the edges a bit. Just a bit. This doesn't need to be pretty. The rectangle has to go inside of our circle. Doesn't need to be a perfect square. But I want proper 90-degree angles. This should fit nicely. Let's cut it out. Now, next thing, I've got my board here, and what I want is 2 pieces that are the length of the board, and 2 pieces that are the width of the board minus the thickness of the board. Let's do it. And now the width of the board, the broad side of the board, minus 2 times the thickness of the board. And this will come together like this. Just about. This needs 2 holes. 1 hole to suck fresh air in, and 1 hole to blow the air out again. This will separate the 2 holes, and then I will have a valve here that will only let the air flow in one direction. And I will need a 3rd board. Yes, we'll need a 3rd board. Now, 1 board will get a hole in it just to stick this pipe into. The next board will get a hole into to put my outlet valve on. And the 3rd board will separate my inlet from my outlet. And I hope I have enough space to work with here. Should work. This should work. So let's mark where my inlet's going to be. And my outlet will be about here. Inlet about here. Start by drilling holes. I can put my saw through. And these holes are plenty big for air to get through. I will need one just like this on one of these boards. Careful not to saw into your fingers while doing this. That would be stupid and painful. And one of these is going to have a hole that will fit our pipe. So I take the drill bit that fits our pipe. That's a really large drill bit. Get the sacrificial wood back. And drill away. That fits perfectly. We'll put some glue on there, make it airtight. Basically, that's it. And that finishes cutting all our pieces. Okay, I've cleaned up my workspace a bit, so let's work on our valves. Basically, the valves are just a piece of leather that goes over the holes. This is the inlet hole, and when I raise the bevel, I create a vacuum inside, so the outside air pushes through this hole. When it presses down again, I create a high pressure zone in the bevel. This will press the leather down and it will close the hole. So I will use glue and nails to put this in place. And before I glue everything together, I will drench this in oil. So it becomes heavier, more airtight. Well, that is basically how I do it. This is the outlet valve. And same principle really. Let's see if I can demonstrate how this works. Yeah, works reasonably well. Again, I will drench this with oil before I finish the assembly. So let's do the lower assembly. And just have my wood glue here. I will just glue everything together. Okay, what I did, I drilled this hole too far to the outer side. Should be more on the inside. But I found a clever solution for my problem, and that is by reversing the order of my 3 boards down here. What I wanted to have was do them like this. And I wanted the hole, the outlet air, to go into here through the valve and out, and the fresh air to come in from here. But the hole's just too far to the left, too far to the outside. So I will just reverse the order. This will all go in here like this. Then the air can get pushed through this hole, through the valve, through this port, and the outside air can still get from here, through this gap I'm leaving here. So this is the order I will glue this together. Let's open wood glue. Let's see. Yes. So I will take my oil and apply the oil to the leather. Before I glue everything into place. Soak it in the stuff. This one as well. This is linseed oil, by the way, but you could use Bellows like I normally do. I had this at hand, or something like WD-40. And now I will clamp this together. Okay, I've got my clamp. And we'll just gently clamp this together and weight it down. Let it dry overnight. Everything's still lined up the way I want it. And now weigh it down. This should be plenty. I know, let it dry overnight. And then we start with the leather working. This is now dried overnight. Let's have a look. And it's one solid piece. So this should work. What I want to do, I want to have a loop up here where you can grab the top of the barrel and lift it up. So let's cut out a loop. You might be asking, why do I need a blacksmith bevel? Well, if you're playing a blacksmith, it is really cool if you can do some actual forging. Don't just have enormous hammer made out of foam and latex that has no actual use and would weigh around 150 or 250 kilograms. Something you couldn't really transport if you were a traveling blacksmith. But if you have an actual anvil and actual bevel can make an actual blacksmith fire, you can actually craft stuff on a convention, on a Larp. I think that is a very good show for the other players, very good roleplay. And of course you can craft really cool stuff. And you can also craft Larp equipment that is made out of metal. In the beginning that may be something simple like nails or tent stakes, candle holders, horn holder or a meat horn. But as you get better, can be something like knives, axes, tools that you will need in your camp. And if you get really good, invest in the proper equipment, you could go ahead and build your own metal armor. So I want to use quite a few nails here, so I don't have a chance of ripping it off while using it. And also I want a loop at the bottom of this, and that loop will be used to put a stick through here and then fasten it to the ground. So I will actually do 2 loops on each side. And that should work. Nice. Now, let's start with the leather tube that will connect these pieces, these two pieces, and trap the air inside. This huge piece of leather, and I'll need some measuring tape. Let's measure the circumference of our top and bottom pieces. It should be the same. That's 97 centimeters. Measure the other one. Also 97. So, as I will need some more to knit it together, I will go for a meter. And in height, I have 3 of these rings, and between each ring and the next, so between this ring, and the bottom piece, I want to have about, let's say, 15 centimeters. So that's 15 times 5. Which is 75 centimeters. So I want a piece of leather that is 1 meter times 75 centimeters, and I will have a hard time cutting this out on my table, so I will cut it out on the floor and get back to you. So, while trying out my box here, by blowing into here, holding this hole shut, I found out that it doesn't hold air at all. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my wood glue and I smeared into all the cracks, all the seams, in an effort to make it more airtight. Doesn't have to be completely airtight, because it's more about the volume of air you can put into your fire rather than the pressure. But if you have 0 pressure, you can't transport any volume of air into your fire, and the valves won't work. So let's try to seal this up. Alright, and this should seal it hopefully up. Okay, cut this piece out. So let's see if this fits. And I actually have about 5 centimeters of overhang. Alright, that shan't be a problem. I will stitch this together. I will actually start by gluing the 2 pieces together to make a more airtight seal and to make it easier to stitch. So I'm using my leather glue, my contact glue, as I have like 2.5 centimeters on either side. I apply it liberally. And on this side as well. And as this is contact glue, I will wait for about 10 minutes and then press the two pieces together. Here this says now dried for about 10 minutes, dry to the touch. So let's try to line this up properly. Press it together. Now let's get over to my sewing machine. Let's do second stitch just because we can. Alright, I'll knot these loose strings down. And then I will burn off the ends, and this won't come undone anytime soon. Right. I tested my valves and this seems to be airtight and working now. So it's time to start with the final assembly. This has to go on the top of the leather tube, and I will glue and nail this into place. And this time I will use my leather glue just as a regular glue and not as a contact glue. Leather will be held on by the nails mainly. This is just to get a seal, airtight seal. And I just dropped all of my nails. Fun. So I will make sure this is on tight. I will go left and right until I finally get around to the back. Where the stitches of the leather, there the nails shall meet. And as I get to the place where the leather meets, I will pull it together tightly and fold it to one side and nail it down. Right. This here's the top. And now it's time to get these metal rings in there. These like ribs, stances that will keep the leather tube from collapsing. They go in here like that. Now I'll have to secure them by sewing them on. So I will use my white saddler's yarn . And I will measure out 15 centimeters, which by our design is how far these stances should be apart. That's about right. And I will secure it just a few stitches. Tie it down. And burn off the end. And I will do this 4 times on each corner. Then I will start sewing all the way around. This will take a while, so I'll get back to you. Alright. While securing the 3 rings, I decided I don't have to sew all the way around. It should be secure enough with the 4 stitches on each ring. Just make sure that your knots don't come apart, and So you make lots of tight knots. And then you could put a drop of glue on this so it won't come undone. But what I like to do is I like to carefully melt this down. Because this is polyester, basically plastic. And if I melt it down, the knot just becomes a solid blob of plastic. And also, when you are measuring your distance, don't go 15, 15, 15. Go 15, 30, 45 and so on. Because if you make an error while measuring this, and you measure from error to error to error, the error will add up. But if you always measure from the same place, the error won't get any bigger. And also, last chance to plug up any holes that might be in your leather. Well, last chance to do it on the ease. Here was a small hole, so I glued a patch of leather from the inside. And now I will put the bottom piece in, and this is done. Well, almost done, anyhow. But when I measured my leather, I made an error in my calculation figures. I don't need 75 centimeters, I only need 16. Because I don't have 5 intersections like I thought, just 4. 4 times 15 is 16. So I will cut this down, and then I will add the last piece, just like I did this piece. And then I get back to you. Okay, the top is now secure, and what I want to do now, last step, is to pull this tight and then fold it to the side so it is nice and tight on all of these rings. And to secure this, I will use my leather glue, and I will use it as a contact glue again, if I can find it. Here, of course, it's under the bevel. So, apply a bit of glue here. And press it together once to spread it. Well, spread it some more. And let this dry for 10 minutes, then I will press it together. Right, it's warm today, so after about 5 minutes this is dry to the touch. So we'll pull this tight, fold it and glue it together, and then try to get it all to stick. Pressing it together firmly. You might want to secure this with a few stitches, but I'm lazy and I will just leave it like this. For now at least. Might add a little more glue, let it dry out, and this is the Bellows. After this is dried, I will show you my whole smithing setup and demonstrate it. Alright, this is my setup. This is the fire pit, which is a wooden frame with a piece of 2mm thick sheet metal on top. It's nailed to the wooden frame, and in there in the middle I cut a hole for a stainless steel bowl that just sits in there and is not connected to the metal in any way. Through the wooden frame and the bowl there's a hole for this copper pipe. Here's a wet piece of cloth because the copper pipe can get very hot, and here it is connected to the copper pipe, leaving my bevel with a piece of this. This is a piece of rubber house I've covered in leather to make it look more pleasing, and there's just a piece about this length there connecting the bevels. And I don't have charcoal at the moment, but I've got plenty of wood, so I'm demonstrating how the bevels work with just wood. So let's get started. Put my feet on the stick I put through the loops on the bottom. Lift it and push it down. And this pushes a lot of air into the fire. So I'm quite happy with the results. I made these fireplaces before I started the LarpWright channel, so there's no video coming up for that, sadly. But if I ever make an improved fireplace, there will be a video about that. And ideal, you want two bevels feeding in the fire, and you want to alternate between the two. But I will start with one, and if I find that to be working well enough, I will build another just like this. So, that's it for today. Thanks and goodbye.